Hello and welcome. I'm just going to do some sort of thoughts on the upcoming Total War 1 2, mainly focusing on the new stuff but how it combines to make a really great game. In the background we have some Empire Total War. I'm playing as Prussia, and this is one of the battles you can find in the scenarios, and so I'm facing double the forces, Austrians and the French, but I'm defending, which is really helpful. So let's get started. So I'm going to talk about the new province system, which I think is sort of an idea where you have 2 to 4 regions in a province to combine. And I think this is a really good idea because it seriously tackles micromanagement, especially with big empires, which you do find in the Roman period. And obviously this is Total War, so we're all going to be making massive empires. You're able to set taxes through a province, and you can issue edicts which give military, economic and cultural benefits. These are really good things and can be used in a variety of situations that I've thought about. The player may even use these to their advantage greatly. So let's say the province of Northern Italy only has 2 regions in it. You're playing as Rome and you're all the Etruscans, so just a little bit north of you, and when you defeat them, you take the whole of Italia province. So you do that, but you still have an army. So you could disband some of the weaker units like the levy or the spearmen that aren't like as good, or you could actually issue an economic edict which gives you more money so you can pay for that. But why would you want to do that if you're not going to use your army for a while? Well, you could actually go north and you could take over both in the northern province, both territories. And because you've got a bigger army from being Rome and taking over the Etruscans, and you've not disbanded any of it, you can roll over them really easily. But in the case in previous Total Wars, you wouldn't be able to do this really, because you have to kind of wait for population to like sort of get with you and be more happy and stuff, and because they don't like newcomers. But in this, once you've taken that province up north, you pay for your army and you can issue an edict to get more happiness, for example, which means that population unrest won't be as high. And then after you've defeated them, you can like split your army and then repress the provinces to stop like revolting, for example. So I think that's a pretty good example. So with the province capitals, I've heard from an interview or read somewhere, you can only build walls, there's only walls on the capital of the province. Now to start with, what screamed to me is this is quite historically inaccurate, so especially for sort of the Mediterranean, Greco-Latin world, and the Persian world as well. So it's pretty much half at least in play world, but that's what I'm going to say on that. On a neutral point though, it will make the player reconsider where to place the troops and think more about things, which I do think is good. However, isn't the idea of this province system supposed to stop micromanagement like that? The really good side of it though, which I think cancels out all the bad things, is that it does give a lot more battle diversity, which Creative Assembly have tried to amplify quite a lot. Because they're trying to take it away from siege after siege after siege, and that sort of focused ethos of just sieging in Shogun 2. I think it's really true, and in Rome 1, all of the non-walled cities in the game were because they were tiny and really small to start with, and they weren't developed, which meant that you can only fight in them with like early period troops. So I think that will give more diversity, because you'll be able to, early on you'll be able to fight in them with like your Velites and Principes, but later on you'll be able to fight with them with your full legions and things like that. Another thing I want to point out is, with the capital system, will the capital of the province only have, will they have more stuff basically? Will they get more benefits than the other provinces? For example, buildings, or will they get more technology rates, or will you only get more technology rate when you have the whole province? So we'll have to wait and see where it is. Finally, the moment I've been waiting for, honestly, since Empire combined battles, probably more since Shogun 2, because before the release of Shogun 2 I do remember a conference showing off some of the things in it. An old guy who no one had seen before explained quite poorly how there would be a sea-land invasion battle type thing in Shogun 2. Interviewers kind of brought this to Creative Assembly after the event, which they mumbled and they didn't really give a very good answer. This invasion battle obviously was not in Shogun 2, and now we have gameplay and confirmation of combined battles. We've seen it in the Battle of the Nile. If you've seen that footage, go check it out on the Creative Assembly YouTube channel. Otherwise, it's just really cool because you can do so many more things like tactics. You can drop troops off from the ships, and they've also mentioned you can't drop horses or catapults off. They'll just drop the actual soldiers off, so it won't be like the horses or the artillery. But you can do so many things, and also you can actually take over a city just with, and it can't be a capital I think, and you could take over a city just with your ships, which is really cool. Because it means you can like lure out the enemy army with like your army, but then send in your ships or something like that. There's so many possibilities for this. And I think another reason for this is they want you to kind of guard away from enemy ships as well, so you're playing some fleet battles as well, to try and like give you more diversity when you're playing. And I think this is clever from Creative Assembly because they didn't want players just focusing on armies and armies and armies, which I kind of agree with them one way, but another I don't think it's a bit controlling, because if I want to play as the Germanic tribe, the Suebi, then maybe I want to just like rampage with my barbarian like troops, but I don't really want to invest in the navy. I think for them that might be a waste of money perhaps. And then another time I want to play as Carthage, and I do want to have a navy, so I want to have a mixture in different games, which gives more replayability. But if they're locking you down and saying that, I don't know, it depends what faction you are, because there's so much variety. This brings me to the naval combat, which we saw in some footage recently, just before Rally Point 16. And this really struck home as to what Rome 1 was about, and why it, so far, I think is the most loved in the series, and why fans screamed out for Rome 2 the most. There's so much variety of factions in this period, and we see in the clip, we see barbarian longboats. They're strong, they're made for boarding, the guys on them are like really meant for boarding. But they're not very good at ramming, and they're only meant for boarding really. Whereas the Mediterranean counterpart, their main thing is basically the ram. And what we saw with the barbarians is, at the beginning, we saw two, I think maybe even three, boarding the same ship, which is what I wanted since Empire. Because I wanted to pull up my second-rate ship on the other side of this galley or whatever it was. So, and I wasn't able to do that. But now, they've kind of changed it, obviously, which is really good. Another thing, and also on the Mediterranean ships, you do get marines, and they're not too bad, but they're not as good as the barbarians. And later on in the video, we see a Greco-Persian ship with two pots of Greek fire hanging over the front. Its purpose is to explode on impact on the enemy ships. Could this be devastating for a rival fleet? We didn't really see what its damage did. Okay, the footage ends there, and you can see the scores. I'm going to quickly wrap up. The reason I believe Total War Rome 2 will be the most successful game in the series, and the most popular strategy game this year, in the top 5 I reckon of all games, is because of the variety and how epic it is. In Shogun 2, all factions had the same units. The only difference was their location in the Japanese islands and their emblem. In Rome 2 we will see variety. We're going to see legionnaires, berserkers, hoplites, Persian arrow fodder, and more. We'll see elephants, pigs, dogs and horses. We'll see different faces and armour on each man and their units. We'll see combined battles to defeat your enemy with new tactics. We'll see empires forged and lost again. We'll see trade, diplomacy and politics. In Rome 2 we will see this epic side, and that's why I'm really excited for Rome 2. Thank you for watching.